So I've been playing around with ChatGPT a lot, and one of the things I've discovered is weird about ChatGPT is that it absolutely sucks at randomness. If I ask ChatGPT, please give me a random number between 1 and 10, it says, sure, here's a random number, 7. Let's do that a couple more times. All right, let's ask it again. Please give me a random number between 1 and 10. Sure, here's a random number, 7. Let's try it again. Please give me a random number between 1 and 10. Sure, 7. Now, this is obviously a slightly silly example, but this has real world consequences when you're trying to work with ChatGPT and you need it to behave in a random or somewhat random fashion. I've been experimenting with using ChatGPT in an education context, building bots, custom GPTs that can quiz my students on course material. And one of the things that I've discovered, which is really frustrating, is that I will give it hundreds of pages of handouts or a PDF textbook, and I'll ask it to quiz my students about the course content, and it asks the same or similar 5 questions each time. And I'll tell it, please make sure that you're randomly asking questions, and then it won't really be random, because whatever it's doing to kind of think what random is, it's coming up with 7, 7, 7, 7, and so it's still sort of asking the same kinds of questions. And I can imagine there's other applications that you might have where for ChatGPT to be really helpful, you need it to have a little bit more randomness. There is, though, a really straightforward solution, and it is based on the fact that ChatGPT can code. ChatGPT can use Python code within a chat or within a custom GPT. And so what you need to do is, rather than just saying, give me a random number, is instruct it to use Python. So I can say, use Python to generate a random number between 1 and 10. And we can actually see it writing this very basic 2-line code. Comes up with 9. I'll say, do it again. And it gives me the number 10, right? And so just that simple sort of dodge, saying don't just do something random, use Python to do something random, actually creates real or close to real randomness. And this can be really helpful in any sort of situation with ChatGPT where you need to get it to actually behave a little bit more randomly. Otherwise, it's kind of doing this weird thing where it's like, I can only guess, because in all sorts of stories and websites and things like that, when people talk about random numbers between 1 and 10, they often pick 7. It kind of thinks the right answer is 7, which is not what you want it to actually do. And as I say, I've been using this technique to get the custom GPTs that I create to quiz my students on course materials to act in a properly random fashion, rather than just telling ChatGPT to act randomly, which it doesn't actually do. So this is an example of a very simple quiz bot. I'll put the prompt language here in the description text. But I've uploaded a bunch of handouts from one of my data visualization classes. And I've got this sort of instruction here, which says, if the student asks quiz me, pick 5 pages of the uploaded course material at random. To do this, first use Python to calculate the specific number of total pages in the uploaded PDF, then use Python to randomly choose 5 of those pages. Tell the student what pages you're using for the quiz. I find that telling part is helpful, because it actually then puts the page numbers in the chat window, which reminds ChatGPT that those are the page numbers that it should use. And then if I do a little quiz me here, it's going to search its knowledge base first, and then it picks those page numbers, and then it's asking specific questions about those page numbers. It's acting in a more properly random fashion than if I was just to tell it, because I played around with all sorts of language, randomly do this, even giving it ideas for how it could do things that are random, like look at today's date and look at today's time and try to calculate a random thing, and it still kind of wouldn't do it. Whereas I find this provides a structure to the randomness that ChatGPT will then actually follow. So hopefully this has been helpful, and if you come up with any use cases for randomization in your use of ChatGPT, or you found other solutions for getting ChatGPT to act in a more random fashion, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and subscribe and all that stuff. So hope this was helpful. Thanks very much.